Joining us now is Seth Kaplan. He is a managing partner at Airline Weekly and the author of Glory Lost and Found, How Delta Climbed from Despair to Dominance in the Post-9/11 Era. Thank you so much for joining us, Seth. We appreciate you being here.
Likewise, Sarah. Good to be here.
Now, of course, we're talking about Delta, which you know plenty about, and experts sort of saying that, look, the system failed because of a power outage. And the question I guess I have is, don't they have backup systems, or has there been less spending on things like that, and that's why we're seeing this? This is coming on the heels, I think it was almost a month ago that Southwest had a problem with the router and caused a lot of delays.
Yeah, and the difference really is that Southwest has sort of been limping along with the reservation system and some other systems that are rather antiquated that they're going to soon be replacing. Delta, fairly widely regarded as an airline at the top of the industry in terms of this sort of stuff. But yeah, it seems not particular necessarily to the passenger service systems, as they're called themselves, the systems that deal with the issues at the airports, but to, a switch that controls electrical currents. Yes, absolutely, those redundancies should be in place, and you can bet that they're busy not only getting the airline back in the air, but trying to figure out how this could possibly go so wrong.
I do want to ask you this. You know, as a customer who flies frequently around the world, we've all been in these situations where something goes wrong. What is it that we customers need to know about what we should have to protect ourselves, or at least help ourselves get back in the air quickly?
Yeah, there were reports earlier today of some of the veteran airport agents who have been through these sorts of things over the decade, actually handwriting boarding passes for customers that could prove that they were supposed to be on flights. So one thing, all this technology, it's great when it works, but keep a printout of your itinerary. It's really handy on during a week like what's happening here, and this is something that's probably going to take another day or two to completely get through. But the apps and the mobile boarding passes, and Delta, by the way, does about as good of a job of all that in general as any other airline, but today it was useful to have a printout. And beyond that, let the airline know what kind of flexibility you have. These days airlines, certainly Delta, do a pretty good job of, if you're flying to JFK Airport in New York, of looking for that next seat to JFK. But if you wouldn't mind flying to Newark instead, if it gets you close to where you're going, tell them that, because they won't necessarily assume that, and it could help you get to where you're going more quickly.
So try to be flexible. Lastly, I do want to ask you this. Did Delta respond properly? I know that the CEO came out, apologized, and we let people hear the apology. They also offered, I think, $200 in compensation. Did they do enough for the customers? Is that what they're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, look, there are customers out there certainly who are very frustrated, who individually don't feel that way, and it's probably a little bit early to really do a post-mortem on this thing. And look, if we're hearing from customers Tuesday and Wednesday saying, I'm still trying to get where I'm going and Delta hasn't helped me, that's a different story. But Delta at least seems to have been saying the right things, and the people on the ground seem to be doing what they can to try to get customers on their way on what is a really rough start to the week for what is, by some measures anyway, the world's largest airline.
Yeah, and Seth, we all know people, and maybe ourselves, have said, I'm never taking this airline again, but you end up flying eventually when they're the best price or have the best route, so we'll have to wait and see what the fallout is. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being with us. Seth Kaplan joining us with some insight into what happened with Delta this week. Thanks, Seth.
Thank you.